Welcome back, everybody. So it turns out we do have another game to bring you. It is a tiebreaker situation here between Enigma Esports and For The Win Esports, and this is a game we casted on the first day, and they play each other again today, and overall they have drawn in the league, so this will decide who goes first of their league, and consequently who goes through to the semi-finals. So bans and picks already coming through. My name is Tasty Aldar, with me is Ben Varmaran, and here we are.
Yes, and I am sure that Enigma Esports surely wants to get some revenge after losing their last match against For The Win Esports Club.
Yeah, absolutely. So the bans already coming through. Ari and Jin banned out, so Farax will not be able to get a hold of that Jin. Pete and Alistar also banned, as well as the Trundle coming out as the last ban for Enigma Esports. Just one more ban to come now. For The Win Esports taking their time with it though.
Yes, and if we take a look at the bans, we can actually see Jin being banned away, and I like to see Jin being banned away just because he's very strong carry at this current time. I mean, he can be so punishing in a lane just because of his burst and his fourth auto attack that will obviously crit.
Yeah, of course. Is how the champion works after all. Legend of Nikki already locking in Lucian. That'll be going over to Hozan, and in Hozan on Lucian in the past. And we know that Hozan is this incredibly aggressive AD carrier. If he has an ability which is transportation of some sort, if it's a dash or a blink, you can bet your life that he will dash in with it rather than out. Hopefully he'll be able to temper that aggression a little bit, because it is part of the reason of this tournament today, or yesterday I should say. But they have picked it over for him, and other than that, he did show some really good proficiency in the game we played. He actually took over the game completely, if I remember correctly. Other two picks coming through as well for The Win Esports, Braum and Kindred locked in.
I like to see them picking up Kindred. Obviously, Kindred is one of the best junglers you can get at the moment because she's so good at dueling. She opens up for a lot of plays to be made around the map, and then obviously they also pick up Braum, one of the best supports in this current game at the moment. So I really like these two picks coming out from For The Win Esports. I feel like that they got some very strong picks right here, whereas on the side of Enigma Esports, they just want to have Hozan being in a safe spot.
And interesting picks coming through. Here's Victor going on to Rek'Sai, and that is Karma locked in. I imagine that'll be for Revoltech. We have already seen him showing a preference for that champion previously, so that will be going down to him in the bottom lane, unless Al-Kafi decides he wants it in the middle lane. Quick disclaimer, by the way, Al-Kafi is the mid laner for Enigma Esports. The name currently in place is there as a result of a long series of events which led to Al-Kafi losing his name and someone else stealing it from him. However, we will be calling him Al-Kafi throughout the cast.
Yes, we will indeed, because that is what he prefers. And now, with Revoltech playing Karma before, that is most likely going to go there. And then also the Rek'Sai pick going over to Victor, because Victor, his most played champion is Rek'Sai. So again, they're really focusing on getting these safe picks, something that people are comfortable on, just to make sure that they are going to perform to the best of their abilities. However, something like Corki has come all the way through the pick and ban phase, and I'm very confused because it's such a strong pick, and if you don't pick up the Corki, that is very weird.
Well, For The Win Esports are still to pick up their mid laner, as is the case for Enigma, so either of them could pick up the Corki. Another thing to note is that Graves also went completely through pick and bans without being picked up, which is again a little surprising. Kog'Maw is an interesting hover here. I don't think they'd be picking that though, because they do already have an AD carry, of course, on the side of Enigma. Don't think it's going to be Kog'Maw mid in this case. Looks like the LeBlanc and the Jax being hovered. Jax would bring an interesting flavour to this game in the top lane. It's going to be switched out for Maokai though. Will that be what's locked in? We have 3, 2, 1, and LeBlanc and Maokai locked in. So that'll be LeBlanc going to Al-Kafi in the middle lane, looking to take over the game with that one, I'd imagine. And Maokai heading to the top side for Legend of Nikki.
Maokai, we saw that in the last game as well, and while Maokai didn't build a Righteous Glory, and I'm still very sad that we haven't seen the Maokai build a Righteous Glory. Last game, different dimensions made it work, so I'm sure that Legend of Nikki can also make it work, and it also brings more appealing now to the side of Hosan. And really, Hosan, he has the right setup now to just stay in the backline as a backline threat, because Al Cafe on the blank will obviously be looking for flanks. He will be looking for a way of getting back onto the front, of the back line of For the Win Esports. But still, For the Win Esports, they have a lot of peeling, so it's not going to be easy to come back and assassinate someone like Son of Dragon or Pharax.
And there is the last pick locked in for the Win Esports. It will be Lux in the middle lane for Sun and Dragon.
Jake, you just disappeared out of nowhere.
I did?
Yes, your microphone started sounding like a robot.
Oh, okay. Well, that might have been a little bit of internet problems. My internet is not the finest, and there is currently a bit of a rainstorm happening outside, so that will not hinder it. Am I back now? Am I okay?
Yes, you are back now.
Excellent. Okay, so what I was saying is that Sun and Dragon had picked up Lux in the middle lane.
Yes. And I really like the team composition of For the Win Esports. I feel like they both the teams, they have the same win condition of having team fights around the mid and late game. But I just feel like Enigma Esports, they're very rough around the edges, whereas For the Win Esports, they just have a clear way of playing their win condition. You just have to protect the backline of Lux and Kalista, and then you have this front line of Nautilus and Braum as well, and then even Kindred can also be a little bit of front line with the Lamb's Spine, so in that way, they have an easier way of getting to their win condition.
Yes, so does that mean that you think that For the Win Esports will be taking this game based on team compositions, or do you think it's going to be going over to Enigma Esports?
I think For the Win Esports are going to go.
Okay.
I feel like Enigma Esports, they tried so hard to get Hosan onto a safe pick, a comfortable pick, and while we did see his Lucian being fairly good, he still had some times where he got caught out and got punished very hard for it. And For the Win Esports, they have a team composition that can be very punishing, as everybody on the side can either kill you or lock you up long enough for somebody to come and kill you.
Yes, indeed. So, summoner spells choices, both going for Exhaust in the bottom lane. Now, I'm a big fan of this. I vastly prefer Exhaust in the bottom lane currently to Ignite, so I think it's good that both supports have gone for this. I think Sun and Dragon's Barrier in the mid lane is an important summoner spell to take, particularly on an immobile Lux against a champion with such high burst as LeBlanc. This does mean we'll only be seeing one teleport, though, on each side, which is not a trend we've been seeing so far. We've usually been seeing at least one team running a double teleport in most of these games.
I'd actually like to go back to talk about the bottom lane supports, because I'd like to have seen an Ignite on the side of Joe, because Kalista and Braum is a very aggressive bottom lane with high kill pressure. So if you had gone for something like an Ignite, then you would have that kill pressure ready to really punish whoever were in the range to get punished. And it would open up for kills to be secured pre-level 6. So while you get that exhaust, it gives you the more late game peeling, more late game safeness. I still feel like if you're going to play it around the early game, which Kalista is an expert in, then Ignite would have been a far better choice.
Okay, well, be that as it may, it is Exhaust that will be locked in for both supports. Both junglers, once again, playing early game junglers, primarily early game junglers at least, and this has been a big trend throughout this tournament and throughout competitive play in general right now, is that most junglers that are being played are early game junglers.
That's definitely right, but the thing is that Kyuga have a better early game jungler than Svictor. Arguably, the best early game jungler, Kindred, she's just so good. She can duel with everybody, she can 1v1, she can invade, she's just the best one at the moment, and she's also a double. Well, she opens up for the double AD carry composition, so she's just she's just everything you want in a jungler at this moment.
So here you do get to see the Keystone Masters being run by everyone. Nothing too surprising, though. Kyogre has once again opted for Fervor of Battle in the jungle as opposed to Strength of Ages. Now, if there was any jungler that makes sense on, it would be Kindred. However, you do more often see Strength of Ages being run.
But with the Fervor of Battle being over on the side of Kyogre, that means that he's going for a more carry type of build with a Devour being built as well. So the very standard Kindred build, you don't get that 1v1 dueling potential if you don't go for a Devour. So I'm expecting a lot of high objective control coming out from 41 Esports. They want to be looking at stacking up some dragons once Kyogre gets a Devour. So that means for Enigma Esports, they have to try and deny this. They have to try and look for either a way to steal the dragon or to pick it up before there's a fight developing for both teams. Because for the Win Esports, they are just better in the early game because of Kalista, and still looks like we talked about in the last game. Her passive Illumination is just such a good early game passive that helps with bursting of people.
Indeed it is. We are going to see very standard 5-point defenses coming out from both sides here, or maybe more like 4-point defenses the bot lanes have clumped together. However, it doesn't look like we'll be seeing a lane swap, and both junglers will be starting on the top side. So a defensive start from both sides. Both bot lanes will also be able to start a jungle camp unimpeded by their counterparts, not like we've seen in other games. So do you think that benefits one bot lane more than the other, the XP from the jungle camp, or do you think it's pretty much the same?
It is pretty much the same, but I'd rather have a Kalista level 2 with Braum than a Lucian Karma level 2. So in that way, I'd say it favors the side of 41 Esports, and you could just see that Enigma Esports, they know that they have to play a little bit safer, so immediately they actually give up the Crocs to Revoltech so that she can get her level 2 fast and deny a little bit of that all-in potential.
Yeah, and that is exactly what we've been seeing there. A little bit of poke damage on towards JOO on the bottom side. For Revoltech, Hozan gets the shield onto him and is doing some decent auto-attack damage in return. Hozan, the only member of the bottom lane who is still level 1 at the moment, but JOO and Pharax don't look like they're in position to take too much advantage of that right now. Legend of Nikki having a little bit of a worse time of it in the top lane, but only just. He's only up to 3 CS so far, but a wave is pushing towards him, which should help, especially now that he's hit level 2 and doesn't only have saplings available to him. Yippee Cow is trading onto him quite decently though, and Legend of Nikki going fairly low there, so he has sustain, but he doesn't have as much sustain as he would have had, say, if he'd started the Corrupting Potion. But I think the Doran's Ring start is more usual and probably usually better on Maokai.
Yes, it also gives a bit better trading potential with the ability power going over to Maokai, and also helping with dealing of the Nautilus pick. I mean, he got a buff, Maokai. The base magic resistance has been buffed, so he is now able to deal better with these AP bruisers in the top lane, say Nautilus.
Yeah, exactly. But the Riptides are still chunking him pretty low, not as low as they would be otherwise. Zvictor actually coming for a backwards gank in the bottom lane here. It might have been a bit too aggressive though, because Ju has the Unbreakable available.
You disappeared again, Jake.
That they aren't going down to that gank, which was a creative gank, to say the least, from Zvictor, and quite optimistic as well.
Yes, it indeed worked quite optimistic, and they nearly made it work. Oh, El Cafe taking a lot of damage.
The lane, but nothing too much going down there. More damage was actually taken by Al Cafe there than by Son of Dragon.
Actually, in the bottom lane, we can see that it's a stalemate more or less in terms of CS. Pharax is actually taking way more damage than Hozan at the moment, and I mean, Hozan on the Lucian is obviously a lane bully, and Karma is also a very pokey champion. So At this point, they are obviously better in terms of doing damage without taking too much in return. But still, once Pharax and Joe hits level 6, that's going to be the turning point. But now Kyuga's in the top lane.
Kyuga is in the top lane, level 4 only though, and Legend of Nikki is forced to flash from the dredge line which came towards him. It was a very good flash actually, made sure he stayed alive because he was very low health up until that point. Quite a lot of trading going down the top side. This could lead to a death of one of the members, but it's not going to be. A lot of finally neutered his aggression a little bit, though that's not something I'm used to saying about Hozan.
No, that's definitely not true. I mean, Hozan is always very aggressive, and that's nice to see him not go too far. And now they are also pushing up the lane, so a lot of CS will be. Oh no, come on, Hozan, don't push your limits. A lot of CS, however, will be denied by Pharax, and Hozan should be going back at this point. I mean, he has enough for a sword, so just go back. Don't overextend, just make sure that you're going to be there and able to respond to whenever Pharax were coming back, because now now that the minions have reached the tower, it's obviously going to be pushing towards you, but you are going to be losing a few minions because Pharax will be able to push up fairly quickly.
But at this point, judging by the CS differential, Hozan can afford a few minions to go over to Pharax. He has built up quite a CS deficit there in the bottom lane. The other place where there's a big CS deficit is in the jungle so far. Kyuga definitely getting the better of that matchup. Alkafi actually forced to flash away there from Son of Dragon. He was afraid of the burst that could come through. Final Spark is available for Son of Dragon, so a very, very respectful flash from Alkafi might or might not have been necessary. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, that is definitely hard to tell. And Son of Dragon is level 6, so if he hadn't flashed, he surely would have been forced out of lane, and that would have been very nice for Alkafi either. So in the end, it's always nice to flash, if needed, of course.
Yeah, no, of course. And I mean, Alkafi on the LeBlanc, that's a champion that suffers less than others from not having flash available due to the fact that there's a huge gap closer available, as we just saw with the double distortion coming out there to put a little bit of poke damage onto Son of Dragon, but still not much damage going on to the Lux actually, and you would have expected Alkafi to be able to put more pain down to Son of Dragon. Son of Dragon has, however, rushed a Negatron Cloak, which is a very safe option here and very respectful of the potential burst which could come from the LeBlanc.
That's going to be building into an Abyssal Scepter, but that doesn't help with a gank in the mid lane.
No, that doesn't help, especially when negating Rek'Sai damage. However, Alkafi was already chunked incredibly low by Son of Dragon just before that. The final spark was used, and Alkafi almost died in the end, so it was more of a deterrence of aggression by Son of Dragon rather than an actual gank coming in from Zvictor. He does secure his mid laner's life, though.
I do indeed secure that life, and I mean, Zvictor, he's making a lot of, well, at least trying to make a lot of ganks, but it's not paying off. They just get a lot of information about where he is, and it gives Kyuga a lot of time to start and farm up. I mean, he's getting close to getting his Devour. Once he gets that, that's the point where you have to start looking at shutting down Kyuga. You cannot let him have as much freedom as you have already given him. Now, he has the Devour, and as I just said, you have to start shutting him down now.
Hozan has decided that this bottom lane belongs to him, and he is not allowing Pharax anywhere near most of the minions here. I mean, once it gets to the turret, it's a little harder to deny them, but a big differential is present in favor of Hozan, and he's going to be feeling good about that with his aggressive play here on the bottom side. Revoltech also helping to facilitate that, providing speed ups and poke when necessary, of course. But the bottom lane of Enigma are winning out so far. However, the fact that there's such a huge jungle CS deficit, as well as a big deficit now building up in the middle lane, means that it's actually for the Win Esports who have a significant gold advantage, around 500 gold, despite the fact no objectives have been taken and there hasn't even been first blood.
That's definitely true, and there's nothing to look at in the top lane. It's just two giants farming with the Bomber Cinder and all of their way clear, so I'm not quite sure why the camera wants to go there.
Well, it goes where it pleases, and Dippy Cow not getting as much of... Well, yeah, he does actually win out the trade in the end. Last Grasp of the Undying stack did fade its way back towards him at the end of the fight. He did have a level advantage for that fight. Revoltech might actually be in a lot of trouble. Here is the level 6 power spike from JWO and Pharax, but he doesn't actually land the fakes cool there, JWO. He doesn't get the knock up from it. Kyuga is present to make sure that his bot lane will be okay. But Revoltech actually looking to catch Duo still here. Hozan wants to put damage onto Pharax. The flash is forced. And now, Enigma Revoltech, he's locked up, but he's not going to go down until the spears are ended out of him. When he does go down, TP, both top laners are here. Now, Legend of Nikki getting chunked out, though, because he's teleported to the wrong side of the fight. 2 kills going over to For the Win Esports. Not good for Enigma so far. They were doing so well in the bottom lane up until that point, and then it just all goes wrong for them. Alcafi is hanging around, looking to maybe pick JWO off, because he is quite low, but he does have the Unbreakable. It's not available anymore. He's just going to dash in, hit the turret once with an auto attack, and then go back to the middle lane.
So 2 kills going over to the side of For the Win Esports,
It's going to be risky if Alcafi decides to do it. There's a ward there, so they know about it. And he thinks better of it. I have to agree with him here. Not a good idea to dive that one.
Yeah, definitely not a good idea. And not when you're standing on a ward either. It might have been different if there weren't a ward there so that For the Win Esports had been alerted. But 2 kills went over to the side of For the Win Esports. Alcafe putting down some damage. Not too much actually, but now that his prismatic barrier will absorb some of the damage.
The fact that both distortions were used to get to Son of Dragon without actually dealing any damage to him with either of the distortions does mean that Alcafi didn't have that much damage left in his kit to deal to Son of Dragon.
That's definitely right as well. And the 2 kills that For the Win Esports got went over to Kindred and Kalista, and I actually think this is excellent for them, because Kindred and Kalista are the ones that you want to be looking at playing around the early game. Actually, Svixter's in the top lane.
Chippy Cow might be caught out here. He's knocked up by Svictor. The dredge line is interrupted as well by the arcane smash. He might be going down, but he's so tanky, and he's just going to waddle on out of it in the end with his little spaceman walk there. And Svictor and Legend of Nikki, they tried very hard to take him down, but he was never in any real danger.
No, Chippy Cow is way too tanky to get taken down by another tank and a Rek'Sai, but here comes Kyuga.
Oh, Kyuga going for an aggressive play here, but he's on the wrong side. He's going to have to pop the Lamb's Respite, but he doesn't do it. He just goes down instead. Hozan picks up that kill. It was available to him, but he just didn't use the Lamb's Respite. I'm not quite sure why. And it was such an aggressive play, and he was on the wrong side of the team. And when the Rek'Sai ult came in as well, the Voyage there, he should have just backed away from it, but he didn't. He tried to go in anyway, and he just gives up a free kill to Hozan, which we've seen before. When Hozan gets rolling, he can be a big threat, provided he doesn't throw it away with over-aggression.
Yes, he needs to learn his boundaries of his champion. And with Kyuga going into the bottom lane, I like to see him trying to make these aggressive plays, especially now that he already had a kill and an assist. It's excellent for him. It's the right base to go for. To go from, but still, you need to respect the farm alarm coming from Svictor. You really need to respect that, because that can turn around, and you need to use the Lamb's Respite, of course. But with that being said, it was actually the right idea that they had going into that, but still, you'd like to play around the bottom lane, because if you can get a kill or one kill or 2 kills, that'll open up the dragon for you to take, and you just want the dragon. It's 5 stacks to devour, and actually Hozan might be caught out.
Hozan might not be caught out, because they're actually going on to Revoltech instead, and Hozan's putting some damage back on towards them. One more hit will get Revoltech stunned up, but it times out. Goes in for the last auto attack. There's the Rend as well. A beautiful flash in from Pharax. He knew the limits, and he picks up a double kill as well, with the Pierce and the Rend coming through just in time, and he stays alive from the turret as well with heal to spare. excellent play from JOO and Pharax in the bottom lane there. I mean, when the Fate's Call came through, everyone thought it was going on to Hozan, including Revoltech and Hozan, and they caught Revoltech out by switching it on towards him instead. There is the Dragon as well for Cayuga. There are the 5 stacks you were talking about. Good plays from For The Win Esports, and they are picking up quite a significant early lead.
This couldn't be better for The Win Esports. They're just getting so much room to play around with on the map. They're getting a Dragon for Kyuga. That's 5 stacks, as you just mentioned. So that could be better. He's halfway to his Devour. Sorry. Son of Dragon have already finished his Abyssal Scepter as well. So that's also so good for him. The power spikes are just racking up. Even Pharax in the bottom lane, he has a seal as well. So it's so good for The Win Esports. They are definitely going for the win.
Yeah, no, they certainly are. It is in the name after all. Cayuga deciding that it's not just Talons who think that longswords are the key. He's decided they are also the key to a good Kindred. And he's picked up 3 of them at once. He might be able to try and utilize them here as he heads towards the middle lane, but Alkafi has a lot of mobility and is playing fairly safe in lane. Actually, tell a lie, he's just gone right in. He's going to be going down. Surely the auto attack follows him. It's Cayuga that picks up the kill. And as I said, he wouldn't be able to pick anything up. He goes ahead and does it anyway.
He goes ahead and does it anyway. And Alkafi, a little bit irritating for him to get taken down in the middle lane, especially now that he'll get denied even more CS. He's already lacking a little bit in terms of CS, so that's very irritating for him to not get that. And Enigma Esports, they're not really looking like a coordinated team. They're looking like more of individuals. But actually, when I say that, they are pushing 4 members in the bottom lane.
They are bringing 4 members, but actually they might lose one because Revoltech just gets caught out by Son of Dragon and Chippy Cow, and that was just posturing too aggressively there. Hozan does stay alive over the wall. The final spark didn't quite land onto him, I don't believe. Legend of Nikki, he's going quite low, but he has the Vengeful Maelstrom, giving him some damage reduction. Caught by the Lucent Singularity, has to flash the wall. Chippy Cow, he's going to follow him though, into 3 members. I'm not sure that was so wise. Son of Dragon can't follow him up immediately, does get the Prismatic Barrier there over the wall. Chippy Cow might stay alive when he gets to the minions. He does stay alive. Just the Prey Seeker comes through as well. Svictor flashes for the kill. The Unburrow picks it up as well as a couple of auto attacks. Son of Dragon now trying to escape from Svictor as well. And Svictor once more here. The TP came in for Legend of Nikki as well. Barrier pop, but that's not going to save you. He goes down. But meanwhile, in the bot side, For The Win Esports were pushing down those turrets, and they picked up 2, I believe, on that bottom side. So I mean, on that top side, I should say. So, as much as that looked much better for Enigma, they did lose significant objectives for it.
Yeah, they got punished by making those plays in the bottom lane, and I wish I could say I think it's worth, but I just feel like, well, in my opinion, towers are so much more valuable than kills. Well, first off, they give more gold, but they also give you more room to play around with. So it's just so much better to get the towers. It would have been good for Enigma Esports if they could have gotten some towers out of the kills, but they weren't able to do so because Hozan, he was just way too low, and Hozan is also way too far behind. I mean, in the overall gold, Pharax has more gold because of the kills, and he also have some bigger power spikes. Now he has the Ruinous Hurricane on top of his Blade of the Ruined King as well, whereas Hozan only has an Essence Reaver and a Seal. So early game is really the point where For The Win Esports can play around. They shouldn't have been able to do so, but they are now. And Enigma Esports, they are looking for a lot of fights, but they might be punished by it once again.
Yeah, they can't seem to find the right one. Cayuga might have just gifted it to them. He does flash away, though. Son of Dragon tries to get a snipe with the Lucent Singularity. I mean, the final spark, I should say, onto Alkafi, but doesn't manage to pick up that kill. However, For The Win Esports do have some priority positioning towards this middle side, but Hozan will be able to clear out that wave without too much trouble. It looks like they might be staying around to continue sieging this up right now. Pharax can go towards the minions, but Hozan actually can put some more pain down. The culling comes through, hitting Chippy Cow JOO comes for the one-man Braum flank. I'm not sure that's going to achieve too much in the end. Throws a Winter's Bite in, nothing more. Cayuga did manage to take away what I believe must have been a Mark of the Kindred to go down to counter jungle the Krugs down there, so once again, not bad for him if he's stacking those up. He'll be feeling pretty good about himself right now. Devourer not yet sated, but it's getting pretty close as it is at 24 stacks currently. So it shouldn't be too long until he's hit that power spike as well. It's a bit of a late sated Devourer, some would say, but it is one nonetheless. Hozan just jukes away from that light binding as well. And he'll also juke away from the Lucent Singularity.
But it's just one dragon before they are able to pick up the Devourers. So again, with them having so many power spikes here in the early game, picking up the second dragon shouldn't be a problem because of course you have the Smite, but you also have Kalista. So you have an easy dragon. This should be the dragon for Photo Esports, and the Enigma Esports, they shouldn't even be able to contest it because all the power spikes that Photo Esports have it should be enough to terrify Enigma Esports of even trying.
Yeah, however, Photo Esports don't look like they're trying it right now. However, I think Pharax has probably started it up there. Yeah, I believe that's what he's doing down there in the river. However, Alkafi is also hanging around and will probably chuck a ward in there, or at least check out what's going on. Nope, doesn't look like it, and the Ren Secure will be there. Doesn't actually quite get the Ren Secure, but it doesn't matter because there's no contest. As you said, Cayuga picking up the dragon, gets his sated Devourer with that, as well as the second dragon buff.
And I'm actually a bit surprised to seeing Pharax be so far ahead on Kalista, because she got toned down very hard in patch 6.6. I mean, her base attack speed and growth went down. Her Sentinels only lap 3 times now instead of 7 times, and her W maximum health on the passive went down as well. Her bonus attack speed, she now has bonus attack speed when close to an old swan. So everything really got hit on her, but still, I felt like it was such a massive hit. But apparently Pharax is able to make it work, and he's doing it in a great manner.
Yeah, and while Kalista may have got hit by the nerf hammer, Pharax isn't getting hit by too many abilities, because JOO is there to provide the Braum shield, particularly when Alkafi tries to come over. He tried to get the double sigil on towards Pharax, but the shield blocked both of them and did hardly any damage to JOO. So Alkafi not going to be feeling good about having his burst mitigated so simply there by JOO.
Definitely not, and the Braum pick, the unbreakable of Braum is really what makes him it's one of the things that makes him such a strong support. He's just able to deny so many abilities. I mean, he can just deny the culling coming from Hozan. He can deny the Inner Flame coming from Revoltech as well. So there are so many abilities that JOO doesn't care about.
Yeah, Sun Dragon gonna put some damage on towards them, but not a significant amount of point damage. Hozan once again dashing incredibly aggressively, and you feel if Chippy Cow was there and willing to, he could have maybe caught out Hozan with Sun Dragon at his back if he'd just thrown out the dredge line. Hozan has been we see sort of shades of this aggression that he so loves, and at some point he's surely going to get caught out if he keeps dashing towards the minion waves when Chippy Cow is hanging around and Son of Dragon has insane amounts of burst. Look at this, he's going aggressive again. Yeah, if he keeps juking the dredge lines though, he's able to do it, and that is something that helps him with the aggression, is the fact that he is so good at juking abilities, it would seem.
But at some point, Photo Esports are going to be punishing it, because they know how Hozan are playing. They played against him yesterday, and so even Son of Dragon is there. Pharax could also be there, and next time JOO is also going to be there. So it can be so punishing if Hozan keeps doing this, and he has a habit of not getting an early QSS as well. So Hozan can definitely he might be the reason they lose again if he keeps doing this and he keeps getting punished by it.
Could be indeed. Hozan sticking to Revoltech, or Revoltech probably sticking to Hozan, I should say, like glue. They're best buddies, those two, the support and the AD carry. Revoltech will take a brief break from that as he recalls. Never mind, he's going to stop the recall. Meanwhile, in the top lane, a whole lot of nothing going on between Chippy Cow and Legend of Nikki. I think Legend of Nikki's gets vaguely the better of the trade if it wasn't for the shield, but the fact that the shield is there and so big for Chippy Cow means that almost nothing is actually going to happen. Legend of Nikki once again trading on towards him, but they're just stopping each other really from coming down towards the bottom side. Hozan once again with those aggressive, relentless pursuits, but once again, no one really responds in time on the side for the Win Esports. It's like every time he does it, it catches them off guard.
It kind of does, and oh, actually, we should be looking out for the two top laners. You can see Chibicow. He's backing off. He's preparing to flank around with the teleport now that he's going back. Oh well, he could have been if at least they still wanted to fight and they were in a better position to fight, that is. But same thing goes for Legend of Nikki. Both of them are relatively low, so just go back, spend the gold you had, and get to a point where you can teleport in and fight, because both teams are looking to fight very soon. And Hozan again going aggressive this time, does not get punished by it, but
no, but he actually did a decent amount of damage to Pharax, who was already brought down to about half health by the double sigil. JWO wasn't there to protect him, and instantly Pharax got taken down to a red flashing health at the very least. It was really quite low, but Hozan using the extended range of the rapid fire cannon when he does those aggressive dashes, and it seems to be working out for him, to give him credit. Looks like for the Win Esports might have the inside track onto this middle lane turret though, and they can take that for free. A bit of a misstep from Enigma, leaving their turret open for the win as they tried to go and clear out some wards on the bottom side.
And this should not happen. Sorry, this should not happen for Enigma. Yeah. I mean, you should not get out-rotated at this point in the game. You have so much vision for the Win Esports, and this just allows them to get an even bigger gold lead. It's now around 5,000 gold. It shouldn't be happening, especially because of for the Win Esports. If they get more towers, they get more room to play with on the map, and the dragon is respawning in 22 seconds, so they can easily go in around the mid area, start to ward it up, and make sure that the next dragon is also going to be theirs.
So, once again, they are clearing the wards out. The pink ward has been cleared by Pharax, and he will once again push the middle wave out with that Runan's Hurricane, which allows him to clear waves so easily. And he is now up to 270 CS, which is a very large amount of CS for him so far. It is almost matched by Hozan, though, with 265. So the AD carries both getting pretty huge right now. Another free dragon goes over towards for the Win Esports, though.
And they're stacking the dragons. I mean, this could potentially be a 39 fifth dragon game. That would, well, it wouldn't be the fastest of fifth dragons, but it would definitely still be a fifth dragon, and that is what matters. But now they might get clammed in.
You know, but once again, they have the inside track to the middle lane turret here, and there's not a whole lot Enigma can do. Legend of Nikki tries to go in culling, hitting Chippy Chow, but it doesn't get him that low. Lands Respite, gives everyone a bit of respite, but no one's actually particularly low in it besides Legend of Nikki, who it saves for a moment until Cayuga flashes forward. The rend from Pharax is what secures that kill. Chippy Cow was locked up on the side there, couldn't keep chasing due to the ethereal chains. JW decides better of chasing, and they realize they probably shouldn't leave Pharax alone when there's a LeBlanc hanging around, but Alcafi isn't able to secure a kill onto him. Son of Dragon did go quite low, and once again we see Enigma locked out of their own territory in the middle lane, and for the Win Esports just zone them away, take another turret. This is the third time in a row they've done it. Will they be able to take the inhibitor as well? They're looking like they want to, but I'm not sure they can right now. They decide they can't quite yet, but I'm sure they'll come back soon. Alcafi tried to get aggressive, but was punished almost immediately for it. Had his passive popped there, which means he was quite low, and decides that he cannot show any more aggression right now. And for the Win Esports, just in an extended period of time, just take 3 towers in the mid lane, basically scot-free.
Yeah, well played by for the Win Esports. They are out-rotating Enigma Esports in this game. You know, the early bird catches the worm, and the early bird here is for the Win Esports that are out-rotating Enigma Esports. And the problem is that for the Win Esports Club, they're just... They are building up such a huge gold lead. So even if Enigma Esports are able to flank around, clamp them inside like an oyster, they can't even do that because they are so far behind.
Yeah, no, and they're so far behind in gold, they're so far behind in dragons, they're so far behind in map pressure. They might be winning on wards right now, but I'm sure that would change if For the Win Esports are able to go back, replenish their own ward supplies, and get some more wards down. But other than that, I really can't see any way in which Enigma Esports are currently in the lead in this game. Look, it's happening again.
Rek'Sai is ahead in CS.
But it's the exact same thing is happening again. Look, For the Win Esports just sprint down the middle lane, and the whole of Enigma are busy off towards the side in one of the jungles. For the Win Esports just about can't make it towards the inhibitor that time, but that would have been absolutely ridiculous if the same thing happened again and this time they took an inhibitor. I mean, Enigma Esports, you have to learn at some point, right?
Well, one would think that they would have to learn, and now they're just trying to force a fight. Here it goes.
Here it goes. Fate's Call will lock up Legend of Nikki, but he's not exactly a priority target. Locked up and stunned up there, and the Rend will take him really low. Just about goes down. I believe Wolf bit him on the backside for that one there. Chippy Cow going over towards Revoltech with Pharax. Now Revoltech probably not long for this world. The Rend slows him down. Another kill goes over to Cayuga. Picks up the double. This will be the inhibitor now for the Win Esports. They are really turning on the heat now in this mid game, and I'm not sure there's much Enigma can do about it at this point. I mean, the fact that they kept getting caught in the middle lane, or outside of the middle lane rather, means that they've just locked themselves out of the game. And For the Win Esports will now head over towards the Baron, and really there's no way Enigma can contest unless they go for a 50-50 steal. And even then, it's probably going to be quite difficult for Victor to pull that off.
This should be... Oh, Victor, Son of Dragon.
Oh, Son of Dragon picks both of them up. Huge burst coming out of him. He gets the instant double kill. Insane amounts of damage. Surely, I mean, if the game wasn't over before that, I feel like it probably is now. Son of Dragon, that was a really stylish play. A huge amount of damage came through. Victor was the only one left alive, but he thought better of trying to get the Baron steal. He will manage to get back to base, but Baron and another 2 kills go over to For the Win Esports.
Baron is the nail in the coffin. Now, with a 10k goal lead, 31 minutes into the game, this game is practically over for Enigma Esports. They have 2 towers. They have 3 kills. They never were able to really get into this game. They just got out-rotated all the way through for the Win Esports club, and Enigma Esports, they have been looking very lackluster in this game.
Yeah, and considering how close games have been between these two, and how they're both so close in the standings as well in their group, and how the fact that they're even having a tiebreaker game between them should mean that this game should be really close once again. But this time, For the Win Esports have just found another level, and Enigma haven't been able to get up to that level, and now For the Win Esports going for another turret here in the bottom side. Looks like they'll be able to take it down. Hozan posturing aggressively still, and they really could have just punished him with that if they decide to use the Fate's Call. They don't deem it necessary, though. They just take the turret instead. No extra risks need to be taken right now for the Win Esports, and they can just keep pressuring, and they have the Baron buff, they have the super minions piling into the middle lane, a TP coming in behind them now. This is the last-ditch attempt here as Legend of Nikki looks for the flank in. A big speed up from Revoltech, but they just cool it off. That was their one chance. That was their one potential chance to save the game right there, and they cool it off. I mean, even if it was a bad engage, they have to go for it. Revoltech, he's caught up by Chippy Cow now, but it's not going to mean anything. Son of Dragon actually did go very low, but just about gets into the Lance Respite in the end. Unstoppable kill for Pharax now. He's dashed forward, flashed forward, picks up a double. Son of Dragon picks up another one, does get taken down by Legend of Nikki. Meanwhile, a triple kill for Pharax. He just popped off in this fight, and you know, they went for it in the end. They took my advice and went for it in the end, but I think they needed to do it with the TP flank, and I think they needed to really start fighting sooner, because they just rolled over in this game. And For the Win Esports dominate Enigma and make it through to the semi-finals.
Definitely a dominating performance coming from For the Win Esports, and they pick up the victory after 33 minutes and 30 seconds. So very well played by them, and they just simply out-rotated Enigma Esports in this game. They outplayed them in the laning phase as well. And Enigma Esports, they never really looked like they came into the game. They just laid themselves down onto the ground and got stomped on.
Yeah, so Congratulations to For the Win Esports for making it through. I think that was a performance worthy of a semi-finalist team here in the Highlight TV Cup series. So that will be it for us from Games today. However, be sure to tune in tomorrow when we will be bringing you the semi-finals and consequently the finals of the Highlight TV Cup series. You do not want to miss it.
You definitely don't want to miss it. So thank you all for watching. Remember, you can find both Tasty Aladar and me over on social medias like Twitter and Facebook. So again, thank you all for watching and have a good one.
See you.
Introducing the new Ozone Blade. Backlit keys, 2 color options. Intuitive user interface. Up to 5 different profiles. 50 custom macro configurations. Light intensity slider. 128 kilobyte data storage. G-mode function. Windows key deactivation. Ozone Blade. The cutting-edge gaming keyboard.
After the battle, nothing remains. Only pieces of those defeated. The weak ones perish, vanish, and are quickly forgotten. From the fallen, only the strong survive to get ready again for the next battle. Get ready for the strongest and toughest mechanical keyboard. A tank to cross over any battlefield. Packed with full mechanical Cherry MX switches. Optimized space-saving 10-keyless compact shape. Loaded with 30 fully customizable macro configurations. With a sturdy aluminum top case. With Ozone Strike Battle.